Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Norwich Talk for another transfer-related video. The last video that I did was a general catch-up around this channel and around Norwich City as a club. I thought what we should do for now is a quick warm-up exercise for a podcast that I have planned, which is a game of keep, loan, sell. Usually we would do that in the review, but I've not done the review this year. I'm not sure any of us are going to be completely fussed about that at all. But I thought we'd do a little warm-up exercise, which is to catch up on the latest rumours in terms of outgoings, incomings. There haven't really been any beyond Isaac Hayden, which came out of nowhere. So I thought we'd do a transfer outgoing special. There are 4 players we're going to be talking about in this video: Todd Cantwell, Christos Tzolis, Max Aarons, and Milot Rashica. They are the 4. We'll start with Todd Cantwell. It has been rumoured that Blackburn are interested in a loan move. Now, Cantwell is coming into the final year of his contract, so as far as a loan goes, I guess that's just Cantwell done. We've made so many videos about Todd Cantwell on this YouTube channel. It's ridiculous. The message is literally always the same. If he can get his confidence, if he can keep his head level, he's a good player. I can't be bothered to make that point anymore. You look at last season in the Premier League, the very few times he did play, he didn't do anything for Norwich City, and he had that whole kerfuffle with Daniel Farke, and then Dean Smith didn't use him, then he went to Bournemouth and he barely played and barely made an impact at Bournemouth. So as far as his Norwich City career goes, it's done and dusted. If he wants to go to Blackburn, sure. There's the idea, he'd be going to a championship rival. Knock on wood, I don't think he's going to cause too much damage in the Championship next season. I can't be bothered for the whole Todd Cantwell stuff anymore. The interesting thing about Blackburn, which I read in an article from Sam on the Pinkin, is that their director of football, their new director of football, Greg Broughton, I don't know how you say that, I do apologise, was a key part of Norwich's academy when Todd Cantwell was going through the ranks. So I guess that kind of draws the natural link. But as far as Todd Cantwell goes, see you later, Chief. I've had enough of that whole thing. A more interesting one is Christos Tzolis to Club Brugge. Now, Norwich spent a lot of money on Christos Tzolis, according to reports. I think is usually reported that it was between about £9 and £10 million up front for Tzolis, which is just a lot of money for, at the time, a 19-year-old winger who we all had very high hopes for. You know, his record in Greece was very impressive for such a young player, formerly teammates with Giannoulis at PAOK, but it's not gone well at all. He started 3 games for Norwich this season, made 14 appearances, got 2 goals and 2 assists in 1 game, which was against Bournemouth, Championship opposition in the Carabao Cup. In the Premier League for him, it's not gone well at all. And I think the sort of the dodgy spell that has been his Norwich career kicked off against Liverpool, because it definitely did, didn't it, when he took the penalty off Adam Eder, who apparently was a designated penalty taker against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, missed the penalty, and from there, there was a massive sort of a conversation, if you will, that we had on the night of that Liverpool game, where it's like, right, what the hell is going on here? And Daniel Farke was very strongly worded in his response to the occasion and the situation. Since then, everything's just not gone well for Tzolis at all, and Club Brugge apparently wants to take him off Norwich's hands with a loan move with an option to buy. I read on a couple of articles that they were interested in him 18 months ago, so I guess that's where, again, another natural link comes up. Tzolis is a player, from the little we've seen, again, very confidence-based. Against Bournemouth, I thought he was brilliant, really, really good, but how long can you wait around for confidence in a player, especially when I think at the club at the moment you've got a player like Kieran Dowell who can fill sort of the wide right role fairly well, I think. I feel quite nervy saying that. Kieran Dowell is a player who we'll have a good conversation with, about in the upcoming Keep Loan or Sell. Dean Smith's made it clear he's a very important player to Norwich City. But back to Tzolis, I've just not seen anything from him. He's not particularly quick. He's not very brave on the ball. He hasn't had a shot for Norwich beyond the Bournemouth game, I don't think. Doesn't seem to create much. He was all right against Arsenal away from home, but again, I think this is kind of a reflection on how I feel about Norwich at the moment. I just can't be bothered to think about it. I'd rather think about players who want to be at the club, essentially. Now, the next player, speaking of wanting to be at the club, Milot Rashica. I said this in the last video. It's a very simple one for me. He's welcome to leave, because at 25 years old, you're sort of approaching your peak years. The second you hear a player's not interested, or they want to go back to their native country, which is fair enough, feel free. You can go, Milot. He's offered Norwich absolutely nothing. But when we described Milot Rashica, it was always a very powerful, quick player who can hit teams on the break, which, when you look at him play, you can sort of see it a little bit there, in terms of there's this player who wants to be that. It's just, when you're that kind of player, you need to have the confidence to take players on, which we saw in flashes last season, but there were so many times, and I think of the Brentford game at Carrow Road, where I think Christopher Ayer was the man sort of taking him on, and he got a yellow card in the first 15-20 minutes of the game, and Rashica just didn't run at him. And I thought, blimey, if you're not going to do it when you've got a centre-back who, I think he was injured as well, I think he was carrying a knock because he came off in the game, and a yellow card, and you're not running at him, you're not taking him on, you're not taking on the challenge, then no, sorry, Milot, but there's no real hope for you in the English game in a Norwich City shirt. So yeah, he wants to go back to Germany. He's welcome to. So there you go. Spoiler alert for what I'll be saying in Keep Loan or Sell. I don't think many of us will disagree. I mean, you've got the classic sort of, he'd probably do well in the Championship, which he might, but at the same time, I think of a player like Onel Hernandez, in his prime, not technically the best, but he was always willing to take players on. He was always taking risks. I just don't see Rashica being that kind of player. Now, the last player I want to speak about is Max Aarons. Nothing's been reported about him, so why are we talking about him? Well, I think he's going to be this season's Buendia, not in the sense of he's our best ever player leaving, but just in the sense of he's the most obvious candidate to leave Norwich City. You can't enter a transfer window as of 2019 and not talk about Max Aarons' future. I think it's a matter of time before Rio Ferdinand's agency sort of shops around and looks for a move away for him. And to be honest with you, he's a good player, but he's absolutely hit a ceiling at Norwich City. And do you know what? His professionalism, from what we've seen and what we've heard and what we can gather by the way that Norwich City run, aka when you don't want to be here, you don't play. He's played as many games as I think he possibly can. I think he's only missed 2 or 3 games this season. You assume his professional manner is second to none. So, to be honest with you, Max Aarons, thank you. But also, yeah, I kind of expect him to leave. Who's going to buy him? I don't know. I really don't know who's going to buy him. I remember conversations we were having a few years ago now about this guy being a £30-35 million player. I think we'd be lucky to get up to £20 million for him at the moment. Who's going to pay it? I don't know. But in terms of the things going in his favour and in Norwich's favour, he's got, I think, 2 years left on his contract, 2, maybe 3 years left on his contract. He's 21 years old. He's English. He's an attacking-minded fullback, which, they're often in high demand. So in terms of his characteristics as a person, as a player, things go in his favour, and Norwich is in terms of someone wanting to buy him. The minute there's a rumour about anyone wanting to, we'll make a short video. Maybe we'll just mention it passing in the podcast, because there's not much more to add in terms of our opinions. But yeah, Max Aarons, fully expect him to leave. I think we all do. Fair enough. Max, you've done well for us, and it probably is time to fly the nest. Now, that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Your thoughts on players potentially leaving Norwich City? I'd love to say, who do you want to leave? Who would you not mind leaving? But I'm pretty sure our answers are all going to be the same in terms of we don't care. But if there is that one player who you think Norwich should sell because you don't like them at Norwich, because you think they could make us some money, I'd love to know who that player is in the comments down below. If you want to leave a little thumbs up, that'd be appreciated. Subscribe too if you fancy it, and I'll see you in the next one.